Hey everybody, thanks for watching today's development fail video. The project that we're looking at today isn't really a project, but rather a neighborhood that was built in Philadelphia in the early 1900s. Over the years, something happened and there's no neighborhood anymore. So the video today, we're going to look at what exactly happened and how a neighborhood that was thriving like Logan Triangle was turned into what it is today. And by that I mean basically nothing. I headed out to see what Logan Triangle looked like, and when I got there really wasn't much to see. All it is an open field filled with trash and what's left of a city street grid. But it wasn't always like this, so how did a once thriving neighborhood with thousands of residents turn into this? Beginning in the late 1800s and continuing through the 1920s, the Logan Triangle area of North Philadelphia was being used as a place to dump toxic coal ash being produced by Philadelphia's industry. Over the years, the ash piled up to the point where it was between 30 and 60 feet deep. In the 1920s, to accommodate Philadelphia's booming population, builders began looking for new places to build houses. One of these was on top of the coal ash piles in Logan Triangle. For several decades, there were no outward signs of any problems with these houses built on top of the coal ash. This all changed, however, in the 1950s when several gas explosions rocked the neighborhood. The unstable soils and coal ash had caused a 30-inch gas main to rupture, which led to the explosions. The damage was repaired and little was done to address the larger problem of the unstable and toxic materials that the neighborhood was built on. More time passed until several decades later, in 1986, more explosions rocked the neighborhood. Again, a settling gas main which ultimately ruptured was to blame. This time, the city took a closer look at the problem and began to realize the magnitude. Nearly 1,000 homes were declared unstable, with 23 being classified as being in danger of imminent collapse. According to the Army Corps of Engineers, stabilizing the area could cost $50 million or more. Additionally, extremely high levels of toxins, including heavy metals like lead, were recognized. Soil testing performed by the EPA in the year 2000 showed that there were indeed ridiculously high levels of lead in the soil in Logan Triangle. A level of 400 parts per million is considered high enough to trigger remedial action. In the case of Logan Triangle, one sample reached over 20,000 parts per million. Following the second series of gas explosions, the city began to make a concerted effort to move people out of the neighborhood. As you can see in this graphic, most of the moving took place soon after the second set of gas explosions, although there were a few stragglers that managed to stay in the neighborhood for up to another decade. By the year 2000, the neighborhood was almost completely cleared out, and that's how it's been for the last 20 years. Today, the area is one of the largest undeveloped plots of land within the city of Philadelphia. Several redevelopment plans have been considered, but none have moved forward. One of the ideas that gained the most traction was a youth sports complex that would provide basketball courts and other sports facilities. But like all the other ideas, this one still hasn't moved forward. Some people have expressed concern that any new development would likely face some of the same issues as the previous neighborhood. Others think that these issues can be remediated and addressed adequately enough to make a new redevelopment plan viable.